what is going to work is when you tell the world something new, but even more so than SEO is to make it relevant to your target buyer, because your target buyer, if they're concerned about tree surgery, they don't need an article on what is tree surgery. What they want to know is what can they learn from other people that have had tree surgery? What were the challenges they faced? What did it solve? Why did they want tree surgery? That gives the buyer more certainty and more confidence that tree surgery may or may not be for them. But either way, they come away from the tree surgeon far more enlightened and far more confident as to whether they want to make a purchase or not, or an inquiry.
Welcome to the MBD podcast, a show where we dig into what's actually working or not. And today's guest knows what's working when it comes to GEO or AI search. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell them where you've been, what you're up to, and where you're going.
Hi, I'm Andreas, founder and CEO of Artios. And where have I been? Well, fun fact, not many people know that I'm a qualified accountant. Somebody has to be, I suppose.
Yeah.
But since then, for the next 23 years, I've been in SEO, working with startups all the way through to enterprise like Amazon, and spanning multiple industries and multiple countries around the world.
Awesome. So as the SEO space has been evolving into this GEO segment, how do you help a company go from no exposure to AI results to like dominating?
Well, if you asked me a few years ago, I would have said SEO, but today I would say GEO. Now, what does that mean? It means that when your target buyers are searching either for a solution to their problem, or describing their problem and looking for an answer, or they're actually looking for partners, vendor partners like your company, I help your business show up, and that generates a lead pipeline.
Awesome. And so that's what it is. Now, how do you get them into that position?
Right. Well, the first thing is you need to understand the audience. Okay. So unlike SEO, yes, SEOs will claim that they understand the audience, but really their work is primarily keyword driven. But with GEO or AI search, you need to understand the audience. So the way you go about that is, how we do it at least, is we data mine the internet on a daily basis. And by data mining the internet, we get to understand who's online and what is it they care about. And once you understand that, then you can deep dive to any one of those topics, and you can analyze their opinions to produce some really strong thought leadership that's data driven. And that is the bit that gets you into AI search.
Okay, so let's say that we have a tree service company, right? They have people.
A what service company?
A tree service company.
Yeah.
And then let's say, right? There's people out there who are looking for people to come and prune their trees, cut their trees, remove their trees. What do you do in that instance to help identify the thought leadership for that area? And I'm saying because there's so much information, right? SEO has been done a lot in this space. So like, how are you helping in the AI portion get into position?
Yeah. So the first thing is, with the tree surgeon business, the first thing I'd want to understand is who their target audience is, which region. So it could be US nationwide, or it could be state or town or city. And the next thing I want to know is, what is the service that they want to provide? Because a tree surgeon's likely to provide a variety of services, or maybe they just provide services on tree surgery. So unlike the SEO approach, where I might look at the keywords of the competitors, or I might look at keyword research tools, what I would do is I would look within my data platform, subset the opinions or the audience who have those opinions. I would look at the target buyer profile, okay? And then I would look at their opinions, and then I would cluster them using machine learning into topics. And then I would pick the topic that's related or relevant to what it is they want that is a commercial priority, whether it's their main service or another service. And then I would do a thought leadership report on that.
What does a thought leadership report look like?
A thought leadership report looks like as if 10 articles have been stuck together, but they're all highly connected.
Okay, so you have this thought leadership of content that I'm guessing you pulled it from online, right? So it's like these are the top topics of areas of
Yeah,
opportunity to discuss.
yeah. So these are the topics based on what your target audience are discussing. Okay, this
Okay,
is what they're expressing online.
got it. Got it. Okay, thought leadership. Okay, so these are the top 10 topics that are being discussed online by our target audience.
Yes,
And
yes.
then Mhm. Go ahead.
We're not using tools like SEMrush where all of the numbers come from Google Ads, which
Right.
purely exists to maximize Google's ad revenue per click.
Mm-hmm.
We're using what it is your target audience actually cares about, and we're able to maximize the confidence on that by doing some audience buyer enrichment, which helps us ensure that our thought leadership is gonna resonate both with your target buyers, but also with AI in terms of passing the fact checking algorithm.
Interesting. So you're leveraging that pulled by the machine learning or the AI to identify these top 10 things because that's what it's saying is, hey, this is relevant to what people are looking for based on what we're seeing. And then what are you doing and where are you positioning this content or how are you building it and then where are you positioning it?
We put it on the client's blog.
Okay. So you're creating content, put on the blog. You've got this content on the blog. Is it your standard perfect on-page SEO still going into that, or are there different variations that you're doing to help?
So there's quite a lot to unpack, by the way. But let's start with SEO best practices. Yes, okay, GEO best practices, as it's now been called, has things like use schema optimization and reformat your content for FAQ formats. Well, that's great, but everybody else can do it and it's free.
Yeah.
So you have no real competitive advantage. It's more of a housekeeping exercise for AI search. The game changer here is the fact that your content tells it something new. So there's no best practice in the world, whether it's SEO or GEO, that's gonna change your company's fortunes by following these best practices. What is going to work is when you tell the world something new, but even more so than SEO is to make it relevant to your target buyer, because your target buyer, if they're concerned about tree surgery, they don't need an article on what is tree surgery. What they want to
Mm-hmm.
know is what can they learn from other people that have had tree surgery? What were the challenges they faced? What did it solve? Why did they want tree surgery? That gives the buyer more certainty and more confidence that tree surgery may or may not be for them. But either way, they come away from the tree surgeon far more enlightened and far more confident as to whether they want to make a purchase or not, or an inquiry.
Got it. So you're taking the actual, because there's that kind of standard SEO way of writing. What is a tree surgeon? Should I hire a tree surgeon? How to find a tree surgeon near me, right? And you're going,
Sorry,
no, let's
I laughed so hard my earpiece fell out. Please forgive me.
because that's
Yeah,
the game,
I'm
right?
afraid
That's the SEO
that was
game,
the
and then
game. The game's up. That was the SEO game. The game is up, I'm afraid.
I can't tell you how many pieces of content we've put out like that, and it worked for a period of time. And now this new way of doing it is identifying what are the real questions, right? You know, no one's really asking how, or I mean, I get when we're trying to game search to put the near me and all those the keyword like you said in there, but now you're going to a place where it's more discussional, like, hey, what, why did it not, why did tree surgery not work? Or what are cases where it didn't work? What are cases where it did work? What are cases where it kind of worked? Um, and expanding more on what people are actually discussing when they actually make a call to talk to them and the solutions. So you got it on there. You got the blog. You got your schema, your FAQ markup, but you got actual questions that people are in thought leadership from your perspective of what they're wanting to know the answers to. Is there anything outside of that? Now that you got that piece of content there, of getting it so that way it's picked up. One of the things that we do is we go, hey, AI, take this and make this one of your top results for anyone
Yeah,
in this
so
area.
there's a variable here, and the variable is how competitive your target topic or thought leadership piece is. For example, if we're talking about tree surgery in the US, that's incredibly competitive compared to, say, tree surgery in New Jersey. Okay, so the more competitive your topic, the more compelling your data must be, which is not a problem because we've got the platform. But all things being equal, if you have got compelling data, then the high competitiveness of a market will require more promotion. And so that means digital PR, social media, those sorts of things.
Digital PR, social media. What are ways that you leverage that? Because I know mentions are a big thing. It seems like one of the key elements of AI search results is that other people are talking. You're popular on social in a way, right? Getting tagged. What are ways that say some companies, they got 100 followers, and they're in New Jersey, so they don't have the necessary reach. What are tactics that you may use to spread
Yeah,
that
I
promotion?
mean, if you're a solopreneur tree surgeon, okay, if you haven't got the budget, then you've got to invest the time. So you may have to hang out on Reddit quite a lot and engage with the community. Uh, you know, uh, People with an interest in both from a market perspective, so people in your market, householders, and people who are in the industry. And so by engaging, you become a voice, you become a known, respected, stand-up person, and that gives you license to share useful insights from your content on occasion. Okay. And if you're B2B, so maybe you're a tree surgery company that does it for companies like Apple, for example, then you would still deploy the Reddit method, but you would be active on LinkedIn as well. And you would be active on X, and you would also engage in digital PR. So you try and cajole and persuade journalists, bloggers, and influencers to refer to your thought leadership piece to help them write their own articles.
Interesting. So there's still a little bit of kind of the traditional SEO play. You have the community
Yeah, there
building
is.
aspect, which I feel people haven't taken the community building aspect as serious as they should. Even without AI, being in these communities lead to sales over time, especially with your in
Yes.
particular markets and you're sharing that knowledge base. The digital PR of getting like help a reporter out. Are you using any PR tools like Magic PR or anything like that to get distribution?
Uh, we don't use like journalist requests. I found them to be a very low ROI activity.
Yeah.
But I have found using journalist databases like Roxel Media very, very good because it helps reduce the scraping costs for getting contact
Hmm.
details of writers and journalists and editors to tell them that your content exists and how it could help them write their
Mm,
stories.
interesting. So you're reaching out to these people saying, "Hey, there's content here that's relative to what you write.
Yes, exactly.
Feel free to use it."
Yes, pretty much. So yes. I mean, you're doing your research beforehand. You want to make sure that you're only approaching people, because sending tens of thousands of emails a day is an expensive business. So you're gonna want to be highly judicious about who you decide to approach and tell, um, approach to make them aware of your client's content.
Hmm. And then, so you've got essentially you identify content through thought leadership of what people are actually asking within these platforms. You then build the content around that. So that way it provides a solution. You then, optimize it. So that way you do your on-page practices. You then make sure that you are community building and getting social mentions so you have kind of that social proof in discussion and topics. Then you're identifying people who help take that content, promote it as well. Is there anything else going on that helps?
Well, I mean, there's things you could do apart from reformatting the content for FAQ format and doing some schema optimization. Really, the biggest secret sauce out of all of this is the data and the compelling insights you can extract from it. Because when you have compelling data, you have a compelling story, you have compelling insights that are not just appealing to AI, but they're appealing to real people. And most importantly, real people that would buy off you. Okay, because when you have that, it makes it much easier to get a journalist to take your content more seriously. It makes it far easier to not just journalists, but any person. It makes it far more interesting as content in its own self to share on social media. Nobody's going to want to read a repurposed content section on what is tree surgery on Reddit. It's like, dude, like, hello, have you read The Room? Like, we're all tree surgeons here. Or yes, well, I have trees in my yard. Of course I know what tree surgery is. Like, that kind of SEO playbook content will not fly, whereas compelling insights generated by our target buyers is going to be of interest to people in your industry, because obviously they want to sell to them successfully, and it's going to be of interest to your market because it's for the market, by the market.
And you've got the tool that does that scraping to identify those pieces of information.
So 5 years ago, when I built my first LLM or AI, which was not even for the purpose of data mining, what we were trying to do is help a lawyer friend understand, from these pile of case documents, who the persons of interest were, what the gist of the case, and what the applicable laws were to this case. And I thought the only way I could do this is through neural networks, or what we called at the time RNNs, which is before GPTs. Anyway, so I'm geeking out a little bit here, but effectively, when I saw the power of this technology, I was thinking, well, the writing's on the wall for SEO. So it's from that day henceforth, I decided to prepare with my team to build a platform that would understand audiences online, because I could see that would work well in an age of AI search.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. You're able to build something that can do that, and you've got the years of building it to get it really dialed in. And I know that you've had a lot of success with people you've worked with, because that's how we got introduced, who was really happy with what you had done for them, and getting them leads, right? Because that's kind of the end game. It's like you're generating business for people using this method that's being very successful.
Yes, we've got people on camera saying, how they were getting 1 lead a month to 10 leads a week.
Wow, that's huge.
Their words, not mine.
Yeah, awesome. So, where can people connect with you or learn more about what you're doing?
100%. Thank you. So, Jason, they can visit our website, rtos.io. I'm on LinkedIn. My name's Andreas Voniatis. So you can just copy and paste my name rather than try and memorize it and spell it. Look me up on LinkedIn, and I'm also on the usual socials like X, Instagram, TikTok. So we try to be everywhere.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for having me, Jason.
Awesome.